Hi beauty fam, welcome back to MikiCarrBeauty. I'm MikiCarrCo, and on my channel I love to talk about luxury skincare, beauty, and sometimes luxury goods. And today I'll be doing a quick 2 looks with the new Nomad New Zealand Stargazing palette, this beauty here. If you're interested in seeing that quick 2 demos, then keep watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel, it helps me out. Commenting and liking below helps out engagement on my channel. And I have affiliate links below to help me out continue with this channel to buy products to review for you. And with that out of the way, let's begin. So I was gifted with no obligation to post or do a review by Nomad Cosmetics, the new New Zealand Stargazing palette. And what I'll do is put some swatches after I talk about the palette a little bit. This is a 15 pan eyeshadow palette, has a nice big mirror. I did actually use it for my looks. It's a very colorful palette. I would say that the person who gets this would have to probably really like bright colors. There are a total of 6 multi-chromes and 9 mattes, considered extra fine pigments, not eyeshadows. And they say that it has manuka oil for smooth and crease proof wear. What is so fun about, and some of you know this already about Nomad, is that they kind of pick a theme and destination. And it says here on the back, the destination is the Dark Sky Nation, and the coordinates are Southern Cross, and the inspiration, the cosmos. So fun. This is a cruelty-free vegan product, which I appreciate. And for each palette, they try to, and I think they do this, for each palette, they give a donation. I don't know how much, but they give a nonprofit some part of their profit. And for this palette, they're giving some money to the International Dark Sky Association. So what's cool about Nomad is that they are based on themes and color stories. So this is obviously New Zealand, stargazing at night. It would be so great. This is on my bucket list to go visit one day. No parabens, phthalates, or mineral oil, which I appreciate. They sent this to me in this really kind of like very green packaging. So I appreciate that it's not overly done in terms of packaging, so it's not wasteful. I really feel like I'm going on a trip with Nomad Adventure awaits. And this is, I believe this is 100% recyclable, so it became secure, it didn't break at all, so I appreciate the packaging was minimal, so we have less of an impact on the environment. It came with some PR materials here, Southern Hemisphere, look how beautiful that night sky is. Dark and dazzling for sure. It comes in a box, which it reflects the packaging here. In the box, what it has on the back are the colors here and the color guide. I'll move to pictures and stills of some of the product and some swatches, and then we'll do the looks. Do Queenstown Skyline, this color here, and see if it shows up. That's an okay color. It really doesn't show up on me. So I'm going to go into Southern Lights, this one here, clean up my brush, and this is more of the peachy pink color. And that's a better color. I don't even think this shows up on me. It's just too light. I'm gonna go into this color, Carina Nebula. This one is kind of like a multi-chrome, a little bit of green and orange. These shimmer shades remind me a lot of Danessa Myricks, her multi-chromes, but they're less pigmented and less oily, or creamy I should say. And flipping the brush and then going into Jewel Box, this one here. And I'd have to say the embossing is cute, but it's definitely wearing away, so I wouldn't buy this palette for the embossing. This is a pretty orange, yellow, green shift of a color. Super pretty. Ooh. Yeah, the effect of these reminds me a little bit of, not the quality, but the finished product. It reminds me of like Pat McGrath Light or a Danessa Myricks kind of light look. All right, I want to deepen this up a little bit. I think that's a little bit, it was hard for me to build up the color. I'm gonna go into that Auckland Stardome, this one here, because I want to see if I can build up the color a little bit here. That's like a really cute, like fuchsia matte shade. Okay, and I'm just gonna diffuse that color. For the bottom lash, I'm just going to take that Southern Lights, this one that I started with. Magellanic Clouds, this one right here. And I'm taking a Katie Jane Hughes Spectrum brush in 18. And I'm just gonna run some of that underneath. Okay, it looks very similar, even though it's white, it looks very similar to Jewel Box, which I just put on. Okay, it's more frosty, but the white part is not translating. Let me just try a different brush. Yeah, for some reason it's just coming off as orange. Okay, that is one I love. Try these cool tones over here on this side of the palette. I'm going into taking a Breffer 15 brush and going into the Cosmos here. And just so you know, I focus mostly on luxury makeup and I don't usually do bright colors. This is definitely out of my comfort zone. Okay, this is kind of like a nice gray blue. Just building up the crease color. I'm glad this actually showed up on me. Two deep blues here. This Carter Observatory is here. And then there's Tekapo Stargazing. I like the Carter Observatory just because it's a little deeper. Sonia G brush, a classic crease just to buff out the colors. It blended okay. These mattes are okay. Actually, I think they're not eyeshadows, they're pigments, which makes it a little different. Their pigments can sometimes be a little bit harder to put on. I'm grabbing the Milky Way shade, this one here. It's so pretty. It's like a purple blue, and I'm gonna just build that up here. And now that I'm using this, I wanted to try this palette without any glitter, glue, or adhesives. I just wanted to see how these shades would behave. They're pretty light and thin, and I think if I were to go back again and do one more look, I would definitely use glitter, glue, or some sort of Pat McGrath Intensifies wand. I do like this blue shade. And then I'm going to go into Southern Cross right here. It's almost like a flip of fuchsia and green. And I'm using a Katie Jane Hughes 15 brush and Spectrum. And this is some little purple duochrome moment. Gonna use my finger to make a more of an impact. Nice. Yeah, I like using my fingers more on this. And I'm actually gonna try a finger going back in here just to see. Yeah, these are better with using your finger if you're not gonna use a glitter glue. And then I'm going to take that Cosmos color here and just kind of use that for the bottom. Finish out the smoky look. Okay, I'm gonna do liner and then I'll be back. Okay, here I am with the finished eye look. I have two different looks where I concentrated this eye mostly with this side of the palette using more of the cool tones, and then this eye I concentrated the palette for these 6 shades. And this is the look for this side, kind of fuchsia with some orange looks. And then this side using most of the smoky blue and purple. I think this is a fun palette. This is my second Nomad palette. So thank you, Nomad, for sending this to me to try out. And I had no obligation to post, just so you know. I have the Ghost Town palette, which I did buy with my own money. The Ghost Town palette is a little bigger in terms of packaging. Ghost Town is 18 shades and this has 15. That's why this is bigger. In terms of quality, and again, this is just first impressions, I think the Nomad palette, again, I only have 2 Nomad palettes to compare. I think the Nomad Ghost Town USA palette might be better quality in terms of mattes and shimmers. The New Zealand Stargazing palette, these are really, really bright colors, so I think someone has to be really comfortable with bright editorial colors. I found these 2 lightest matte shades to be not useful for me at all. They're just too light, and so I really had to go into what I could find as maybe a medium tone for me. So these 2. And then everything else, these other 4 mattes and this black, would just end up being the deeper color, which I don't mind because I can go in light with those and then build up color. These 2 shades on the lid kind of look the same, and for some reason, even though I kept on thinking this was going to be white, it kind of looked the same on my eyes, and I'm not sure why. This was the deeper one I put out here, and this is the one I put out in the middle, and then I tried to do an inner corner highlight with this, but for some reason it just looked a lot like the other shades. I'm not sure why. The only shimmer shade and matte shade that I didn't get to use, and I've actually tried this before, this one was too light for me. I didn't get to use this one, which is the Aurora Australis. This is probably a better inner corner highlight. And let me just see if I can even pop this. Maybe I can get my inner corner highlight with this one, the Aurora Australis here. That's the better one. That's the one I should have used. So that's a fun inner corner highlight. And actually I'm going to put it on the other one just so we can have some fun. So that's definitely the better inner corner highlight. I like that one. So this almost reminds me of kind of a cousin to the Danessa Lightworks palette. And I didn't end up doing a review or demo of the Lightworks Volume 5 palette. It was just time got away, and I think it was just too late for me, and all these reviews are all like based on like when these palettes are coming out, so I'm not going to get as many or at all very many views of these. But this palette is so beautiful. It reminds me of a cousin. These are fun editorial colors. I would say it's a different formula altogether. I would say I do like the duochromes on this a bit more, but what's lacking in this that some people might not like is that this is kind of a complementary palette. They have to be okay with all shimmers. There's no mattes in here. I actually just grabbed my Viseart mattes and then grabbed this as another palette, and some people don't like that. I'm fine because I have a lot of makeup. I'm fine pulling. And I would rather do that because the mattes were just, to me, okay, like in terms of quality. They're pigments versus eyeshadows, which is a difference. I'll have to look up the difference, other than pigments are just really, really like very, very saturated. And sometimes pigments can, at least in my experience, can be hard to press down and kind of blend. That's just my experience of using pigments in the past. I used to use a lot of ABH, and those are pigments as well in her palettes. I do like the duochromes and the multichromes. I'd have to say I do favor, just because of my just preference, I do favor like the cool side of this palette more. I don't know if I'd see myself using these colors again because I'm just not really into shimmery orange shades. That's just like a preference thing of mine. So when I use this palette again, I'm probably just going to stick to this side of the palette. And I think that's it for my review. I think if you like this color story, this is a fun palette. I got this as a gift. I don't know if I would pay full price for it just because I'm just pretty picky about my palettes, and I tend to do luxury beauty. And also I'm a Danessa Myricks Beauty Angel, so I already have the Lightwork palette. So I think if you have the Lightwork palette already, I don't know if you need to get the New Zealand Stargazing palette, but if you would want this version of like these kind of vibe with mattes in like your palette, then you might want to think about getting this palette, the Stargazing palette, because some people really don't like to have to reach for another palette for mattes, whereas everything is already all inclusive in here. I don't mind, that's just me. I don't mind grabbing mattes because I have a lot of Viseart mattes and I just think they're the best mattes in the game. I would say I do prefer the Danessa Myricks multi-chrome shimmer formulas better. These aren't bad, it's indie. I think they're just they're very thin, which is good. What I look for in indie shadows, either the mattes or the shimmers, that there's not fallout, and that, at least for the shimmers, I'm looking to see how they go on, if there's a shift. And a lot of duochromes, multichromes can be really, really flaky and have a lot of fallout. I don't like that. There was a little fallout with these shades here, but now that I know how to work with these, I've had other indie shadows that are more shimmery and fallout, but these are pretty nice shimmers, multichromes, duochromes. So it's pretty good, I would say. I don't know if it's to the quality of Danessa Myricks or Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath, but in terms of indie, pretty good. You might want to give them a shot. The pigments, the mattes, I'm not too keen on. I just don't really like pigments. I'd rather have eyeshadows, and that's something I'm kind of picky about with mattes, because for me, my favorite mattes are Viseart. How I finish this look, I just put blue liner and put a little bit of SUQQU on top and blue liner at the bottom. And this one I use brown liner and brown liner at the bottom and smoke that out, and mascara. So that's my finished look. I have on my cheeks the new Chanel blush in Coral. It's this one here. Such a beautiful, beautiful blush. Let me know if you are interested in this palette, like you've been eyeballing this, if you're planning on getting it, or if you're planning on getting this on sale. I would recommend waiting for a sale, but there's no guarantee it's going to be included in the sale. I ended up getting this Ghost Town at the end of last year because there was a sale, and I just waited to the end of the year because I wasn't in any hurry. But these are my preferred colors. It's more of like a grungy color story versus super bright. Say if you're interested, go ahead and buy it. I don't have a code, no affiliate code. I don't make any commission off of this palette. They just sent it to me in PR with no obligation to post, and I just thought I'd do a really quick review. I'll link the palette below if you want to buy it. I don't have a discount code, and I know other YouTube creators have discount codes, maybe even 10%, so you might want to look around. And that's it. So let me know what you think of this look. If you think it's too editorial, or I try to make it more wearable, at least for me. I know there are some YouTubers or reviewers who definitely do more like really bold looks, but that's just not my style. I try to wear like bold looks, but that are more wearable and a little bit more elegant. Like I would actually use this. I don't know if I would use this like color scheme, this colorway, depending on what event or what I'm wearing, but I've done smoky, glamorous looks like this, and it's been fine. So this is kind of my comfort zone of elegant, like amped up glam, indie makeup looks. Okay, that's it, Beauty Fam. Remember to subscribe, comment, and like below. It helps out engagement on my channel. And as always, please be very kind to yourself and others, and just be you. Until the next video, Beauty Fam, take good care of yourself. Bye.